The headline saying Dawn Wells and G-Strlng photos leave little to the imagination is designed to grab attention instantly, but the real story has very little to do with shock and everything to do with how online culture manipulates curiosity, emotion, and nostalgia. So stay with me to the end, because this is about understanding the system behind the headline, not the headline itself. On eGossip 3.0, we break down how the internet often recycles old or misrepresented images, pairs them with exaggerated phrases, and turns familiar names into clickbait magnets. In many cases, these posts don't explain when a photo was taken, what the context was, or whether it came from a beach setting, a professional shoot, a costume, or something entirely unrelated. Instead, they rely on loaded phrases like "leave little to the imagination" to tell you how to feel before you even see anything. That wording creates instant tension because many people associate Dawn Wells with a very specific image shaped by classic television, warmth, and nostalgia. When a headline suggests something outside that expectation, emotions spike. Some people react with anger, others with disbelief, and some rush to defend or criticize without knowing the facts. That emotional clash fuels comments, shares, and engagement, which is exactly what these posts are designed to generate. The internet thrives on contrast, especially when it places a familiar figure next to a dramatic or provocative claim. Even when nothing unusual is actually happening, the contrast itself feels like news. Sometimes the image is harmless but cropped strategically. Sometimes it's taken from a different time or context. Occasionally, it's mislabeled altogether. And often, the language is doing far more work than the image ever could. That's why captions matter more than people realize. They act like instructions, telling your brain to react with shock before reason has a chance to step in. Clickbait depends on speed. It doesn't want you to pause, question, or research. It wants an instant emotional response. Another important layer here is respect. Being a public figure does not erase someone's right to basic dignity. Even if a person participated in a bold or confident photo shoot at some point in their life, that does not justify crude commentary, mockery, or distortion. Sharing images without context and inviting outrage turns people into objects rather than individuals. On the other hand, pretending that admiration must always be framed as scandal is equally unhealthy. Viral does not mean true, and repetition does not create accuracy. A story can be shared thousands of times and still be misleading. Platforms often reward the loudest, most extreme version of a narrative, not the most accurate one. This problem becomes even more obvious when the subject is a woman, as headlines frequently reduce women to their bodies instead of acknowledging their full identity. The real lesson here isn't about one outfit or one photo. It's about recognizing how outrage is manufactured. Calm, balanced explanations rarely spread as fast as dramatic warnings. That's why these posts keep resurfacing. They are built for clicks, not clarity. To avoid falling for the bait, question the caption, watch for alarmist phrases, avoid reposting without context, and resist the urge to react instantly. You don't have to be shocked on command. And here's the key takeaway. The real issue was never whether a photo was bold. The real issue is how easily people, especially women, are used as tools for cheap attention and manufactured controversy. Once you see that pattern, you'll notice it everywhere. If you stayed to the end, you now understand what those headlines are really doing. Like, subscribe, and comment on eGossip 3.0 if you want more clear, respectful breakdowns like this. And share this with someone who always clicks those take a look posts, because once you recognize the bait, it loses its power.